ladies, T-birds, just happen to be watchers of my shit. My name is Jimmi Pynk and Bright Solstice. Damn, that was an epic tongue pop. Couldn't pull that off a Drag Race if I wanted to. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we are going over the Sabrina Christmas special, A Midwinter's Tale, the official episode 11 of season 1 of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Now, a couple of things before we get into the actual review. This episode seems to be very standalone and didn't really push the plot forward. But one thing I will say that I appreciated about it is a lot of times when you have time or space in between episodes or seasons and the exposition fairy comes, where there's a lot of exposition to let you remember what was going on the last season, even though we only had a couple months off, not even a full couple of months. I felt the way they did this was very, very natural. Sabrina and Harvey speaking and saying, hey, we haven't spoken since this happened. How's this and this and this? Reminding us of what happened with Tommy. Them just, popping up with, hey, Letitia needs her bath. And it's like, oh, yeah, it's okay for you to steal babies. But, like, all things that, let's just be honest, in today's television scheduling with streaming and everything, you forget things a lot faster. And there were a couple of things that I did forget that happened in season 1 of Sabrina that was brought up here. But it didn't seem forced. It didn't seem exposition fairy. It felt very natural to the plot. So I'm very happy about that. And I really hope that Netflix continues with this in the vein of Pretty Little Liars. How they always just had a random Halloween episode that kind of fit into the story but really didn't push the plot forward. But it was just a nice little Halloween special. You got a winner with this. I would not mind this being a yearly thing, because the story was a good contained story, but also we're familiar. I really greatly enjoyed it, so I hope this is something that Netflix continues with. Even though, can I just be 100% honest? Little blasphemous to have the show about Satanists around Christmas. A little bit, but they also kind of kept the Satanism at bay. Like, we didn't have, like, the Dark Lord didn't appear. We had our usual, like, that last line Sabrina had, Satan help us everyone, except for God, instead of God help us everyone, and things like that. It's not a Christmas tree, it's a Yule tree. Those types of things, but that's part of the world building. That's the world that we're in. But I felt like they were very respectful to not make it as Satan-based as the real series is. But I wouldn't mind if they did this every year and, like, tossed us this winter solstice Christmas special episode. I wouldn't mind. Now, as far as the actual episode, for the most part, I enjoyed it. There are some things about it. For example, the Yule Lads. Y'all couldn't have came up with a better name than the Yule Lads. Now, I'm familiar with Archie comics, so when I review Riverdale, a lot of times things come up and they seem like, who the fuck would name this? This is so corny. This part of the comics. I'm not very familiar with the Sabrina comics. So the Yule Lads may be something that's in the comics. That storyline may be something that came from the comics. I'm not 100% sure. What I will say is the very intro, where they are using the Chilling Adventure of Sabrina's comics, because there are different Sabrina comic runs. I did enjoy that they did put it in a panel from, like, the lighter Sabrina comics that was a Christmas episode, and they threw that in. I enjoyed that. But the Yule Lads, demons that makes kids and the statues felt very, very original chart to me. That was the storyline where they was taking people's spirits and making them into figurines. So the storyline was familiar to me. But again, as just a one-off Christmas special that didn't even progress the plot, I thought it was good. It was a good sit. It was a good watch. I don't feel like I wasted my time or anything. So we start off with let's be honest, an unnecessary flashback. But what I will say is the little girl they cast to be little Sabrina was some excellent casting. I almost thought they actually had a budget. They did some kind of way and went back to her on like Mad Men and got like a picture of her young. Excuse Hales Bells. But you know, she wanted to talk to her mom. Again, like not necessarily part of the plot, but her letting Ambrose know and letting the Weir sisters know and then eventually letting the aunts know. You know, I seen my mother in limbo and my mother is stuck. This whole time I kept thinking the mother was Wardo. Like they showed her because she's everything on the show, but she really didn't do anything. I don't even think she really needed to be a part of the special because I kept expecting that this spirit of Diana, Sabrina's mom, ward well some kind of way, especially after she did her prayer to Satan. Why haven't you called me back to the lake of fire yet? I did what you asked me to do. She signed the book. And then the cookies that were like dressed like them, I thought they were going to be voodoo cookies. I thought she'd have more to do with the episode. All she really was like, oh, you want to do a seance? You won't get the book anyway, so I'm going to give it to you because I still got to look like I'm your ally. But I loved her on the season. She was pointless in this. She was pointless in this. Like, I really thought at some point when like another demon came or when the mother actually did show up when they did the seance, I thought some kind of way she had something to do with that. And it never happened. I don't know why she was in the episode. Outside of probably contractually obligated to be there. Susie always wanting to be the elf. I mean, that part, I mean, you had to bring in Christmas into it, right? It's a Christmas special. You had to bring that into it. So, okay, she always wanted to play the elf as a kid. Well, you had perfect opportunity with that flashback because when it was the flashback at the beginning of the episode and it was Sabrina and Susie, you had perfect opportunity when she got up there and they went up there to go see Santa. You had perfect opportunity instead of her making this statement about her being gender non-binary. I want a truck like my dad's. You had perfect opportunity for her to say, well, I want to be Jingle's elf. And then that whole storyline would have actually played a little bit better. But you never really did, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I got a job for Christmas, and I'm Jingles the elf. Oh, Susie, you always wanted to do that. That was a little exposition fairy-ish. But what I was saying about that exposition fairy that was positive was as far as them reminding us what happened in the past. That, oh, Susie always wanted to be Jingle the elf. You did a flashback with Susie. When she went to go talk to Santa, you could have brought that up. You didn't even bring up Jingles the elf in that shot. Of course, you know, things get edited. That may have been something that got, it may be on the cutting room floor somewhere. Roz's cunning comes into play again. A nice play and... Do y'all realize it took me till this long to do this review because it was shit going on all day that y'all was going to be able to hear something in the background and I couldn't fucking do it? Motherfucker. I'm sorry, we're going to have to progress on from this because I'm not reshooting this because somebody want to be loud and drunk outside after a goddamn football game. Not going to happen. Anyway, But, you know, what they did do in the flashback was it was Susie's dad and Aunt Hilda talking about, like, you used to be able to leave your doors open around here, and now, like, you can't even, because people are snatching up kids, and then come to find out Creepy Santa was the one that was snatching up the kids, and even his last name, Bardwell, was it Bardwell? Is a demon name, and he's somebody that does take kids and encase them in wax. A little on the nose, a little odd for a demon, but Roz's cunning seeing that it was a demon. So that was, again, a nice little refresher of, oh, that's right, Roz has a power. Like, you know what I mean? It was done well. Overall, a couple things else I want to mention. They don't got nothing to do with the plot. Oh, I know we ended the season with Sabrina walking with the Weird Sisters, but, like, are they really that cool now? A question I do have, and y'all comment below and let me know. Because she signed the Book of the Beast, is she no longer mortal at all? Is she full witch and now the Weird Sisters accept her? Because they were like all gung-ho to do the seance with her and helped her. And I wasn't trusting them. Like, I always had this thing in the back of my head, this seance was some bullshit and it was some interference and somebody was fucking with her. And nope, they played that shit straight. Mama was there. And then when they got to the whole King Solomon biblical thing with whoever can take the baby and pull the baby out the circle can have it, and the mother is the one that told her to spell. Mama wasn't a witch. Like, I was like, okay, so that was Wardell. Especially when it didn't end up that, you know, when it ended like when, you know, she get the baby. Oh no, I put a glamour on a teddy bear. Oh, okay. But she still gonna come back and help you because this demon is harming children and she all about protecting children because this whole story about her and this other witch that made a pact. They would eat their children to survive. And she only had one son and they ate him first. But this bitch had multiple kids and went back on her story. Oh no, bitch, you got multiple. My son is going last. You got plenty motherfucking kids. And I agree with Sabrina. What is it with witches and cannibalism? Like, for serious. Bad tongue pop. That first one was epic, though. Other than that, you know, the Yule lads. The sound effects of the baby supposedly crying and the Yule lads, the sound effects was trash. Sabrina's wig did look a little bit better, but I'm going to need y'all to go get her a good human hair lace front. Clearly Sabrina is doing well enough that you guys have already greenlit season 2, which was renewed for 2 seasons anyway, but you're premiering it as early as April. You gave them a Christmas special. Clearly this is a hit for you. Go ahead and spend a little coin and get that girl a human wig so that her hair moves. When Sally Draper had her real hair, it was short and it looked like that style, but it moved. The lace front looked a little bit bigger, looked a little bit better, but her hair didn't move. I'm gonna need y'all to put a little coin into that girl wig. One thing I did like is at the end when Harvey came back, especially in high schools, when you love somebody, it's hard to let go. Especially when you sit down and think about it and be like, yeah, you caused a lot of problems, but you were doing it out of a good place. And Sabrina made the eggnog to make the father stop drinking. And Harvey was like, thank you. I know that's what you did, but don't bring magic around me no more. I don't want these pencils that don't never need sharpening. I don't trust the magic. I love you, but I don't trust this magic shit. I know you meant well what you did with my brother, but you caused a whole lot of motherfucking problems and you solved this issue with magic. But I don't trust it. I don't want you to do magic around me ever again. Now, a little bit of a problem with that. She is who she is. You either got to accept that she's a witch or not. You can't say, don't bring that shit around me. You could say, don't give me any more magical gifts, don't bring it into my home. But you can't say, don't do magic around me ever no more, ever again. That's not right. And we see how that worked in Bewitched. That shit didn't even fly all that goddamn well, and that was in 1960. So I kind of really don't like that. I feel where Harvey is coming from. But as far as this obviously being a show that's supposed to be empowering the women, where we had the thing like, well, Gorilla's wife left him and she don't like men, and in fact she'll eat him, and Ambrose had to break camp. You know, you're doing the feminist message a lot better than Charmed, but that's real borderline iffy right there. That's no different than, oh, well, that's cool, but I don't want my woman to work. It's a very thin line. I get where Harvey is coming from, but if you're going to try to do this feminist storyline, unless you have to bring this in season 2, where Harvey is like, don't do that magic shit around me, and she like, yo, this is who I am, take it or leave it, then that was a little bit iffy. But I get it. Other than that, you know, I'm assuming you guys watched the show, but like I said at the very beginning, and I'll reiterate that, I wouldn't mind this being a yearly Christmas special. The episode reminded us what Sabrina was, reminded us of some things that happened in season 1. I do appreciate the fact that even though, you know, these people are Satanists, because it is a Christmas special, like, you never seen an appearance of the devil, it wasn't as heavy as the rest of the season was, with the devil worship and stuff outside of the world building, and we've already established that these people are Satanists. And it was a good watch. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, and I'm very excited for season 2. I am. It wasn't bad. Let it be 45 degrees in December and all the motherfucking loud-mouth drunk people come out. But I thank you so much for watching. If you're not a regular watcher of my channel, I want to take this opportunity to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'll see you guys in April for those of you that only come across Sabrina reviews. For everybody else, Pink Ladies T-Birds, thank you so much for rocking with me all year. Thank you to my patrons, people that donate to my PayPal, people that donate to my live streams, because you are the lifeblood of this channel. Not only do you give me a reason to continue doing this, but you also financially help me to continue to cosplay and be in costume, which is a huge part of my channel that I 100% enjoy. I enjoy it. And right now, I really need that outlet because I'm not in the greatest place mentally in my life. And for those of y'all that are new to this channel, I'm not going to get into it. But this helps, and I appreciate each and every one of you. If you would like to assist in keeping this channel up, afloat, and fully costumed, that shit is up there somewhere. PayPal, Patreon, those links are also down below, as well as merchandise you can buy, and my CD, because 10 years ago, I dropped a rap album, and it's still available. You can buy that too. But while you're down there, why don't you go ahead, like, subscribe. YouTube algorithm is doing some strange things at the end of 2018, so you can't just expect, oh yeah, I'm gonna remember her in April. Subscribe so you know when the rest of my Sabrina reviews is up, as well as anything else that I review. You may enjoy some other reviews. Comment. I do respond back to everyone, because at the end of the day, I generally review things that I don't have in common with other people in my life, so that I can't speak about them, and generally that's what I review. So I love talking about this shit, and I will respond back to you. So thank you all so much for watching, and again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and keep it greasy. Deuces.